Hello dear viewers, and welcome to a new episode of Business Insider. Tonight we'll be talking about the 2024 Russia BRICS Summit. It is the 16th annual BRICS Summit currently taking place in Kazan, Russia, and this is the middle day of the three-day conference, and this is the first BRICS Summit to include Egypt, amongst other countries that include Ethiopia, Iran and the United Arab Emirates as members following their accession to the organization at the 15th BRICS Summit. And His Excellency the President participated in Wednesday in the first plenary session of the summit, the first session was held behind closed doors, and in his inaugural speech at the summit's first session, the host of the summit, Russian President Vladimir Putin, underlined the need to achieve balance and maintain the effectiveness of the BRICS, and noted that the group has great political and economic potential. While President Sisi also highlighted the need to address the escalating situation in Gaza and Lebanon, and urged for an immediate ceasefire there, and stressed the importance of facilitating humanitarian aid to those impacted by the conflict. We'll be talking here tonight about the BRICS Summit, the importance of Egypt's joining of that great grouping, and all events taking place in Kazan. And we have the great pleasure of having with us here in the studio Dr. Assem Alakabawi, and he's a pharmaceutical and economic expert. A very good evening to you, Dr. Alakabawi. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, good evening, and first of all I'd like to say, in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, it gives me great pleasure and honor to be here today, and I say welcome for you and your respected viewer in this TV program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alakabawi, for being with us. Please allow us, dear viewers, first to watch a report about our main topic for tonight, and then we'll come back and start our discussion. Please stay with us.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi gave a speech during the second expanded plenary session under themes strengthening the multilateral system for just global development and security in Russian Federation, Kazan. President al-Sisi said this session represents a favorable opportunity to exchange views and consultation to enhance common understanding of current international and regional issues. The President commended the briefing report submitted by the President of the New Development Bank, representatives of the BRICS Business Council, the Business Women Alliance and the banking cooperation mechanism of the group, and affirmed full support for the work. Addressing the summit, he stressed that Egypt firmly believes in the importance of strengthening the multilateral international system, with the United Nations and its agencies at its heart as the fundamental pillar for preserving the gains of peace, stability and development. However, he said that successive crises that have swept the world over the past years had demonstrated beyond doubt the inability of the international system to deal fairly with conflicts around the world. He pointed out that international developments have shown that the shortcomings of the current international systems are not limited to political and security issues, but extend to economic and developmental issues. He underscored that the expansion of the BRICS membership at the beginning of this year reflects the intention of the bloc's countries to enhance multilateral cooperation and raise the voice and interests of developing countries in various international and regional forums. The head of state affirmed Egypt's support for enhancing consultations and coordination among BRICS countries and intensifying cooperation to address common international challenges, especially climate change, access to concessional financing, food security, increasing rates of poverty and hunger, and the widening of digital and knowledge gap. He also stressed the importance of promoting cooperation frameworks in the field of financial settlements in local currencies and investing in the comparative advantages of the bloc's countries. President Sisi also asserted Egypt's support for the important role of the BRICS Business Council and the BRICS Business Women's Alliance in intensifying cooperation among the private sector and business owners in the member states, as they are key partners in efforts to achieve sustainable development. He finally confirmed Egypt's commitment to the principles and axes of BRICS work and its keenness to enhance cooperation among its countries.
Thank you very much, dear viewers, for staying with us, and thanks to Abir Hussein and Rasha Abdul Hamid for this report, which focused on His Excellency the President's speech at the second plenary session of the BRICS Summit Russia 2024 on Wednesday. Back here in the studio with our dear distinguished guest, Dr. Assem Alakabawi, the pharmaceutical and economic expert. Now, Dr. Alakabawi, let's first speak about the BRICS organization, the formation of this organization, the countries that it started with, Egypt now joining the group. Let's take our dear viewers through a chronology of what happened with the group.
First of all, let us actually have an highlighting on the year 2001. When there is a financial analyst, very well-known financial analyst called James O'Neill. It is in Goldman Sachs Bank, and he is actually at that time in 2001 said that some countries having a very actually a strong growth economy, and he represented that by Brazil, Russia, China, and India at that time.
Right.
It was 4 countries.
Right.
It was BRIC without S.
Right. S joined in 2013, yes. South Africa.
I'm coming to that, yes. Because, and when he highlight that, these countries is begin actually to make a foundation for the BRIC, and it was in 2006 at the beginning.
Yes.
As you mentioned in your introduction, that this is the 16th summit. The first summit, it was actually in 2009, and it was held actually in Russia. Then they actually give it for these 4 countries, one after one, to be the chair person for this summit. So it is 3 summits has been done in the 4 countries, and that by 2009 is beginning. 1 year later, 2010, China is invited South Africa to join, so it became the BRICS by 2010.
Right.
Since that time...
That's the year, by the way, that's the year South Africa hosted the FIFA World Cup. 2010.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know what is the coincidence of that.
Well, it was after, of course, the great Nelson Mandela took over, and he was president, and his country had the honors of hosting FIFA World Cup.
But your point, yes, this is from sport point of view. I have another point of view, which is 2008. It is the worldwide recession for the economy.
Right.
And we have
the global
in 2009
financial
the financial crisis.
Right.
And I don't know if there is a coincidence between to have the first summit 2009 and to correlate that to financial crisis, world financial crisis, maybe. Right. But I couldn't actually guarantee
and surely for South Africa, they had just freed themselves of apartheid.
That's right.
And the great Nelson Mandela was leading them. So
that's
yeah,
right.
it was
it was some sense of recognition for him more than anything else.
Yeah.
So if we say that this is the 16th summit, but it is the first summit for the BRICS after inviting the 5 new members, which we have honored actually that Egypt is one of them, including Iran, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates.
Right.
If I look now to this group of BRICS, the new one, I can say that it represents almost 50% of the population of the world. If you just put
almost.
Russia and India, almost. It is 43 exactly, if you'd like to put it in numbers. But we can say that it is almost 50% of the humanitarian or population, and also it is 37% of the GDP per capita worldwide, which is very significant as well.
Right.
So you have a group with this power of population and as well as significant strength of the GDP per capita. This is definitely, they can actually create some sort of counterweight. The West, or I don't like to say it anti-West, as Vladimir Putin, the president Russian, would like to say that. And also in his mind as president, Russian president, he would like also to edge out the dependence on dollar.
Right.
But I think that this
He did talk about de-dollarization in his first speech.
I think this is the uphill game, and it is not easy actually.
It will take time.
Like this. So this is highlighting the group of BRICS, the old member and the new member, and how the strengths of them from population point of view and financial point of view. And I think they can create, with some strategic agenda, they can create another force power after the bipolar ended by the
fall of the
Soviet Union, and we are living now in the one polar of the United States. So this is actually very good. From another point of view, look to the G7 or the group of 7.
Right.
When it's begin as well, this is actually, and I think Egypt, it may be, because I'm Egyptian, I'm a little bit biased, but Egypt after the 1973 war, okay, there is the embargo of the oil being used as a weapon for the first time. In 1975, it's began the Western Union or the European Union to be as a counter to what's happened. So by way or another, all of this coalition, I think Egypt is the initiation of that, from my point of view. And after 1975, it was United States, Great Britain, in addition to Italy, France, Germany, Japan, and in 1976 they added Canada.
Canada,
no,
sorry.
Not Russia.
Yeah, because there's the G7 and there's the G7 plus Russia.
That's right. Canada, it has been added then, plus Russia, it has been G8. But what is actually famous, it is the G7 or the group of 7. Plus
G7
Russia.
plus Russia. Right. And there's the G20 as well.
This is actually, it is rotated, and they are inviting some other countries from time to another.
Right. And we've been invited there.
We have been invited there twice,
Right. So, Dr. Alakabawi, His Excellency the President today in his speech, the second plenary session, talked about the importance of enhancing cooperation among the countries of the BRICS in a way that contributes to maximizing its role in establishing security and stability. It's not just economy here, security and stability, increasing global economic growth and achieving sustainable development goals. So this grouping aims not only to, it's not only for economic purposes, but should also work for the stability and the security of the globe.
You are completely right. Our president, when he speak about that, he speak about peace, security, development and cooperation.
Right.
So peace and security is coming at the beginning, okay? And even in our talk, not only in this summit, it is since long time ago, Egypt is actually in a very, very critical area. You see all the countries around us. And we are actually have the wisdom to the maximum in order actually to keep the people. I'm not speaking about Gaza Strip now or what's happened in Lebanon, but since long time what's happened in Libya, Iraq, Sudan. So if you are not actually having the right wisdom and among all of these, disrupted countries, you will not look anything before peace first, then the security. So we are not looking for the economy only, but with the population, as I said, that this BRICS group, it's almost represent 50%. Yes, definitely. The group, it will come actually in the population, it will come in the center of all thinking that we have on the ground.
Indeed. And Egypt has been and will continue to be the cornerstone of stability in this very important region to the world. Now, Dr. Alakabawi, also the President talked about the fact of the importance of multilateral cooperation at this time. And he also mentioned upholding the interests of the developing countries at various international and regional forums. So here is like the developing countries, they have the right to see their interests being respected.
The developing countries, and for a long time ago, and it might be the BRICS group in the top agenda of them, trying to create these emerging countries or emerging economies to the screen of the worldwide. We are not
the balance that you talked about.
Yeah. We said that the counterweight, the West.
Yeah.
But if I look actually to the United Nations, okay, and all the decision has been taken. Also, if the IMF, which is the International Money Fund, all of this actually for the benefit of the Western countries, and they never ever think about emerging countries. So if I'm looking now to the interest among this BRICS group now, it is one of the top points on their agenda is to bring the voice of these countries in such global united, either the United Nations or any other group of voice that can create or what I say, to reveal the opinion of those people and to be on the radar of the development. Let me say that the National World Bank, which is actually beside the International Monetary Fund, they are actually supporting those two countries. What's happened for the BRICS actually? In 2021, in Johannesburg, they're having the new Development Bank, NDB, okay? And this is actually trying to create some sort of balance to support the emerging countries for their infrastructure, for their actually growth, economy, everything. In the last 3 years, they actually invest $32 billion for this emerging market. It's good, but this is actually represent only fifth of what the World National Bank is giving to others. So it is a step on the road, and we have actually through BRICS looking mainly after it is vitalized now on the ground to be actually having some other sources of to finance and support these emerging countries which never been on the radar before.
Right. And speaking of the interests of the developing countries, one of the main issues where the developing countries have been paying the price of what developed countries have been causing is climate change.
Right.
And climate change is on the agenda at the BRICS summit in Russia. And we remember when Egypt hosted COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh in November of 2022, that Egypt was the leading voice again for the developing countries. So Egypt here is consistent with its stances, again trying to give the voice of developing nations and to make them have a bigger say in world affairs.
For sure, what you are actually referring to the Sharm el-Sheikh summit in 2022, as you said, it is giving that we have a clear vision and sustainable one, that Egypt is the voice of these emerging countries even before the BRICS. But within the BRICS now, and with the weight of the countries that they are joining this, and I'm not going to repeat many times from population and finance point of view, this is actually can speed the rhythm or the race of what we are looking for the emerging countries.
You know, when you were just saying this, you just reminded me of, I'm going back, I think, 60 years or something. I don't know if it's 60 or 70, I think it's 60 years, the non-aligned movement. Okay. When Egypt was also one of the leading voices for the developing countries around the world, one of the founding members, of course, of NAM, the non-aligned movement.
It's proof that we are actually having one vision, and you will not have one vision for a long time. You said 60, I don't mean that you have that much old, Yani. You are frightening me 60 years ago.
No, I wasn't there.
Then I feel that. Okay. What I'm trying to say that this is actually...
I'm talking about Nasser, Tito, Sukarno, and Gandhi.
Yeah. If you have... it's Sukarno, Tito, Gandhi, Nasser. Yes. If you look to this, it does mean that, if you have sustained vision for a long time, it does mean that you believe in this to the heart, and it's not just something fancy or something like that.
Absolutely. You're right, Doctor. So, Dr. Alakabawi, before we get into the sector, before we get on how Egypt can benefit from the group and what sectors, and I want to talk to you about your sector, the pharmaceutical sector especially. What is it that you expect from this summit? You said, yeah, it's to de-dollarization or counterweight to the dollar. It's a bit too early. It's going to take time, naturally. But there is this ambition amongst the countries of the group to have inner trade between them and local currencies. What about this huge project?
Definitely, and I think it's on the agenda of the summit, even if it is not announced about all the points in this agenda. But for sure, will create a lot of easiest of the business between these countries by, I don't like to say the opening the borders between them, but actually the issue of the tax and the custom and all of these things can create a lot of benefit to the business.
Some sort of free trade if possible.
Definitely, definitely. And if I look actually to the different countries in the BRICS, you can see that they have diversified strengths and what can I say, strong points different from one to another. And
they integrate each other.
Yeah, this diversification, it can actually benefited us a lot. As we said, in the area of climate change or something like that, as the area of TACA, or what can I say, other point like trading, as you said, the taxes, the local currencies. If we actually depend on dealing on the trade by the local, through the local currencies, even among the group of this is can strengthen the currency, and I think Egypt will be actually benefited of this a lot. Are they thinking about having one unified currency for the BRICS? Maybe this is not the time now, and maybe the edge out of dollar or de-dollarization, it's a battle will take time, because as you know, still till now the economy, depending on dollar, it's almost 80%.
Yeah.
So yes, it is the BRICS is a step on the ground. Egypt will benefit. Yes, it will benefit a lot. And when I come to the part of the pharmaceutical sector, I will actually explain this in a better way.
Okay, we're looking forward to it. But before we close that point, final point here, on what Egypt can gain from the group, and what can the group also gain from Egypt, this huge market, this big market, this country, located in the heart of the world, at the center of the international route for trade. So talk to us, please, Dr. Alakabawi, about the mutual benefits.
The mutual benefit, first of all, I said that it is the integration, or the business integration between all of these BRICS, it will benefit all of them. This number one. But let me say how Egypt is going actually to benefit others. Definitely our location, geographical location, this is the easiest, the business of something like China. China need to have a hub in the area of Africa and Middle East. And Egypt could be actually an absolute, tremendous, good place for that. And also Suez Canal, okay, and we heard a lot in the last few months about that they are trying to find another channel, and this will affect us. I think
this won't happen.
it is something some people dreaming, and by making this dreaming more and more, if you have this coalition of the BRICS group, you will have another support. Before you are fighting alone, but now no, not at all. Second, on the we said peace and security. If I look to the Gaza Strips and Lebanon from the other side, we are in the middle. I don't like to say hell, but it is not easy for any country to live with that without a coalition. And this is not something. I mean, it's out of blue or space, because we have this actually in our Holy Quran. The verse said, "وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا," and in another verse said, ولا تنازعوا فتفشلوا وتذهب ريحكم وأنتم الأعلون. This is if you are in a higher position, and if you have conflict and argument all the time, you are going to be dismissed and disappeared. Okay. So what about if we are in a very hot area? So the unification is actually needed, and this is embedded in our even religion before anything else.
Indeed, and in the Egyptian culture. I mean, unity and cohesion and steadfastness has been always the main points of strength for the Egyptian society throughout history. So I wonder if this group, did I understand you correctly, that this BRICS group should have, or already has, something like its own IMF or its own World Bank to support the member countries?
As I said, they begin with what said New Development Bank, or NDB, it is John Johannesburg, 2021. But after vitalizing this on the ground, and there is, by the way, they are going to invite expansion, the BRICS, to another country.
Right.
If I look actually...
They invited Argentina, by the way, but Argentina declined to...
No, they're not declined. Argentina, it is a group of 6, I mean 5 countries like Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Ethiopia, Iran, and Egypt. It was Argentina 6. But the president of Argentina, who is elected, he is having a completely...
he said, I won't join the...
He said United States, I mean toward the United States.
Oh, okay.
And both sides, he said, I don't want, and they said, we are not welcomed, actually, even them. So Argentina is declined from, by mutual, actually, understanding.
Okay.
But on the other hand, Argentina, even from distance point of view, I mean the location of Argentina.
Argentina is the most indebted country to the IMF, and as I understood, I think I read recently that they are going to annihilate their local currency, and they're just going to work with the dollar. That's what I understood.
This is what they said. It's not happened till now. And even when he is elected, a part of his agenda, I don't remember the name of the president, but actually a part of his agenda is by saying that we are going to deal in dollar, and that's toward America. This is actually what is obstacles for joining actually something like BRICS, because it's completely opposite to the idea of BRICS, whom they are looking actually to outwit the Western countries.
Yeah, of course, whenever we talk about Argentina, it's easier to remember the names of Messi and Maradona.
That's it.
Other than any other names. So how can the pharmaceutical sector, Dr. Alakabawi, benefit from the BRICS, from Egypt joining the BRICS?
Yeah, it's a very good point, and let me highlight first what is the pharmaceutical in Egypt. Egypt actually in pharmaceutical business, pharmaceutical sector, if it has been compared to all other industries in Egypt, it is one of the most actually strong one. Why?
Advanced.
Advanced. Why? Because they are actually covering 92% of the local requirements. So if you have an industry actually can cover 92% of the local requirements.
That's a very good number. I mean, if all industries cover 92%, Egypt will be in a much better economic situation.
And even we are actually exporting to many other countries, and I don't like actually to name a company by itself. But
please don't. Yes,
I'm not going to say that. But I'm saying that we are actually having a very good manufacturing process in Egypt. We have a very good reputation for our even medicines which we are created in the countries that we are exporting for them. And even there is some European countries, there is Kazakhstan, there is Russia. All of this actually we are exporting for them.
Yeah.
If I'm look now that we are a member of the BRICS, while we are actually exporting our product to this, then we will have a prioritization as a member of the BRICS to these countries, which is actually we can benefit as pharmaceutical sector.
For sure, but I have to interrupt here, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Because whenever people hear about, you know, the great exports, and everybody's happy when we export any commodity, by the way, especially pharmaceuticals, many people say, okay, sometimes we need this, just complete the 8% that remain first. I mean, complete the 100% and then start to export. That's the only point I wanted to mention.
I'm going to answer that. The 92% is coming mainly from the conventional therapy, which is actually we call generic. The other 8%, it is 8% in unit, but actually in value, it will be a little bit greater than 8%. What are these products? We are speaking here about oncology product, biological, biosimilar, vaccines, nutritional.
And they are important.
Very important. But the know-how of these things actually, it was something that away from us a little bit. Let me just give you a good news now. But good news why? Because these two issues, the raw material, okay, which is ABI, the raw material, it is coming actually 90 98, 99% from outside.
From outside.
Yeah. So even if I'm actually covering a 92% of the local requirements, but if I don't have the raw material, then if it has been cut in the raw material for a reason or another, I will be
losing both ways.
That's right.
Yeah, losing from the part of satisfying the local market or my potential export.
But looking now to the BRICS countries, it is China and India. They are actually having almost 90 to 95% of the raw material worldwide. Being a member now, then at least
these two countries have more than 90%.
Yes, from exporting raw material. So by actually being a member in BRICS, this is actually could be a great benefit to a country like Egypt, whom they do have a strong pharmaceutical sector covering the local, but at least also secure the supply of the raw material. This is number one. Number two, this is actually cost more than $1.2 billion a year for the country. This is hard currency, which is actually depleted in this sector.
So we could save those 1.2 billion.
That's right. Not all, but at least you can actually have
a good chunk of it. Yes.
It's another part, which is the biological or oncology product. It's represent the other almost $1 billion. And the good news here that, as we said, that we will not mention companies, but by 2025 January, it will be the first factory in place, biosimilar factory, which is not only in Egypt, Middle East, Eastern, Far East, Africa. They do not have something like that. This is actually to reduce the invoice of the hard currency that we depleted to be actually localized here, and even a lot of neighboring countries is looking for actually to export for them because your price will be by far
competitive.
That's right. So for both 2 points, API or raw material plus biological, we are actually saying this good news through your respected TV program, because the biological will be beginning 2025 to be on the ground, and the raw material, which is the bigger one, already they established the company of doing that, and it will begin to put the foundation of this by March 2025.
Very good news.
Which is mean the 8% that you are looking for, why should it be 100% in export? This it will come. But in the conventional therapy, we are covering the 92%, as I said, and we are exporting the part of it.
Wonderful. Now, what other sectors you think or you see Dr. Alakabawi benefiting more than others? I mean, from Egypt's joining of the BRICS?
I see that India, it is on the top of that. They are very advanced, highly advanced, yes, in the technology and the IT. They are highly advanced country. Also, the know-how, not only the raw material with the China, but also they have the know-how of the biosimilar. They are one of the very famous country. This can help us a lot as well. This is what's crossing my mind now.
Russia would be the energy sector, I guess.
Definitely, Russia energy sector, and I don't like to be dependent on the importing the wheat all the time, but yes, Russia it could be.
Food security
till we have our actually independence for that.
Right, right, and sure. Finally, as we conclude here, that this is a big moment for Egypt. Now, Egypt is a member of the BRICS, and from now on, I mean, every summit Egypt is represented there, and Egypt's wise voice will always be heard on that very important global platform, I guess. Relatively new.
For sure, it's a good incident, but what's make it beautiful as well, not only good, that when it's coming on time, it is taking place at a time that the
world is changing,
having a lot of challenges like war, terrorism, I mean climate change, many things. So it is coming on time, and we are actually have been chosen, and I'm happy that Egypt actually one of the countries that been invited for that, because as you said now, we will benefit. It is win-win situation, and also we can actually benefit others from our location.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Dr. Alakabawi. I've enjoyed listening to you. On behalf of our dear viewers, we thank very much our dear guests with us here in the studio, Dr. Assem Alakabawi, the pharmaceutical and economic expert. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much for it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you, dear viewers, for watching Business Insider. Please stay with Night TV.